Hello and welcome. I'm so honored to have with us today Stacy Burleson from Albuquerque. She also is dealing right now with a family member who is living through the disease of addiction, specifically to fentanyl, and she lives with this in her family every day. And so we're very thankful for you to be here to share your story with us, Stacy.
Thank you for having me, Commissioner.
Yes, it's wonderful. So please tell us about your loved one. What are they like? What about them makes you smile?
Well, it's my oldest daughter. Her name is Nicole. She's a really great mom. She's a really great person. She has a great personality. She has 3 kids. Her, like many other kids, just got hooked in with the wrong crowd, and she started using fentanyl, and it just really took her really fast.
Thank you so much again. You've been on this journey, sounds like, with your family, and what do you wish you knew early on in this journey?
I wish I knew early on in the journey when I started selling drugs how this really would affect a person's family, how it affects the whole entire family and for generations to come. You know, when I sold drugs, I just didn't really think about or realizing, you know, they say a drug dealer ruins at least 500 families, and now I think about the damage that I've done, you know. I wish I would have known about all the sleepless nights that moms were going through, that parents were going through. You know, just sitting up waiting for that phone call, what it was like. If I would have knew that then, I could have been more on the other side instead of, you know, pushing the drugs. I could have been fighting against the drugs, especially now that I have a child that's struggling with it. I wish I would have known in the future that this was, you know, was going to happen to her, or it was, you know, this was going to be affecting us the way that it is. But then maybe again, things were supposed to happen this way, so then I could be fighting to try to help save, you know, other family member kids' lives.
Thank you so much. And I know that's like, you're coming from such a strong perspective. I'm sure it took a while to get there. What do you have advice or thoughts for families that are going through similar things?
My advice is to not give up, to educate yourself, to educate the whole entire family, to talk to your children, to let them know, you know, not to be taking anything from any person, to really be careful about who you hang out with. You know, we have a lot of parents who says that my child's not doing drugs, my child's not doing this, but your child is around other kids who are doing these things, you know, because they go to school, they go to sports, and it could be just that one time where maybe your child may be going through something, or it might not be your child, it might be your sister, it might be your brother, it might be your neighbor. They may be going through something at that time. We really have to talk to kids. We really have to talk to kids at a very young age. You know, that stranger danger or whatever, don't take anything from anybody that you don't know. We don't talk about pills, you know, pills are so normalized now, right? Because kids are, you know, you take a pill for a toothache, you take a pill for a headache, and then as our kids get older and they're at these parties that, hey, take this pill, they just take the pill, not knowing that that one pill can kill them. So it really starts at home. We really got to start talking to our kids. We got to pull these drugs up on a PowerPoint on something. We have to show them to them, and we have to know let them know that it's dangerous, and if you take this pill, that you more than likely you are going to die.
Thank you so much, and that's part of what this whole summit is about, right? Like getting out of the silence of it, educating our families, getting more of the awareness out there, exactly what you're talking about. I think of what are the ways, there's something else I was going to say. We're adding to, just kidding. It was about, you were talking, I had a one to follow. Shoot. It was about the, go ahead.
Can I add one thing? Another thing that we also, fentanyl, a lot of people use fentanyl to just, you know, they want to get high. But also fentanyl is a sex trafficking drug also that a lot of people don't realize. And we need to be aware of that. And we need to be aware that that these drug dealers, they are targeting children. So fentanyl starts to look like candy, but more so fentanyl, they're using it to target women. So when women are out in the community, in the public, they need to really be aware of what's going on around them. You know, what looks different on their cars. There's something there that's not supposed to be there. Also, to not take roses. When people come up and hand you roses, don't accept them because more than likely they're laced with fentanyl. And also another thing thing is the perfume samples, do not accept those from people because they are spraying that with fentanyl also. And so that has to do with a lot of sex trafficking that's going on too. So people will be like, okay, you know, I don't have to worry because I'm not taking a pill, I don't party, I don't do this. But you go to Walmart, but you go to the store and you go this, and there are really people out there targeting people, and they're using fentanyl for it.
Yeah, and we have so much to learn from you. I know just from your personal experience, but also as the Director of Women in Leadership. Sounds like you learned a lot about this.
Right, right. Because we're always being vigilant because I was a drug dealer, right? So we want to have the best drug. So some drug dealers are intending to, you know, they want to kill people, but some of us, we're not trying to kill people. We're just trying to make the most money. But we are killing people because we're adding things to the drug. And the drug itself is already bad, but they're adding things to the drug to have the best drug, right? And people are dying from it because they can't handle it. People are coming out of jail, they're overdosing because the drugs out here are different from the drugs in there. So we will do what we need to do to make that money, you know what I mean? That's how we're thinking about. We're not thinking about, oh, this pill is gonna kill that person. So that's another thing people need to be aware of is drugs get cut, they get laced, they get things added to it. They're adding horse tranquilizers now to fentanyl. So the fentanyl itself can kill you, and then they're adding a horse tranquilizer, which works it acts just like the opioid. So, but the Narcan does not work on it, so it won't respond to it. But it works just like a respiratory depressant, just like the opioid.
Wow, so much. And I know one of the themes for this is one pill kills. You talked about it, and we're facing what seems to be an ever crazy problem for our families. A lot of folks have talked about this shame and stigma. It looks like you've overcome some of that, and just know that getting out the message is the most important.
Right, right. You can't really have shame and stigma on a health crisis.
Yes,
this is now a health crisis, and it's going to affect everybody's family. So whether your family member gets hooked on drugs or not, you may be affected by the crime. You know what I mean? We haven't even seen the crime that's going to come with the fentanyl. And it is going to come soon. So that's another thing we need to think about. And so it will affect the whole entire state of New Mexico eventually, if it hasn't already done it. So there's the stigma, all the shame. You know, we got to stop worrying about that. That's why we got to start talking about it more. So fentanyl has to be an everyday, regular conversation. Remember, you know, don't be hanging out with people you're not supposed to be hanging out with. Don't be taking pills. And then we know people who are on drugs. Like my daughter, I know my daughter is, right? So we know people are going to do drugs. So we have to learn we have to focus on harm reduction. And if we can focus on harm reduction, then hopefully we can get people to get off drugs. But we have to learn that some people are just going to do these drugs. So we need to talk to them about, listen, don't do the whole pill. Don't do as much. Maybe do a little less. And if they're doing that, a lot of people do pills and drink. You know what I mean? You got to be careful about mixing opioids and alcohol. You know what I mean? There's a difference between, you know, Valium and alcohol than it is opiate and alcohol, because it works different. So we have to educate on people. If you mix these drugs, you're going to have a serious problem. But if you do mix them, you need to take them this way. You know, we need to get into the schools. We need to have, what is it called when you bring them in the gym? And we need to show them this is the pills that are targeted to kill you guys, right? So, you know, you guys, if you mess around with this stuff, you are going to die. You know, we have to just be straight up and honest with them and talk just like that, and just have these everyday conversations with your kids.
Thank you so much, Stacy. This is so incredible. And to hear a couple of things I heard you say, right, that harm reduction, I want to make sure our folks watching understand what we mean when we say harm reduction. And you're very clear and direct about, like, we need to say the things that are real, be very honest. Sometimes people would say, oh, you're teaching them how to do drugs better. But no, right, we're trying to save lives. If you wouldn't mind expanding a little bit.
Yeah, we're trying to save lives. So what we want to do is we want to show them, I mean, the drug is out here. Their kids are specifically being targeted. So we have to show them what it is. We have to let them know that they need to stay away from it, or they would die. we have to talk about it, because we have to let people know. People who aren't on drugs, we need to, if we could start talking about them, hopefully we could not get them on drugs. And people who are on drugs, if we focus on harm reduction, we can slowly get some of these individuals off drugs, because they are here now, right? Only thing we could do now is slow the flow of the drugs, because the drugs are here now. So if we could start talking to people about them, we can save lives. We will be able to get people off of this drug. But if we do not start doing outreach, Commissioner, and going out and say, hey, Commissioner, let's what is it about this drug that is going on? Okay, so we know you do this drug, so can we help you taper down? You know what I mean? Can we get you in counseling? What can we do to help you get this? Because I've seen my daughter withdraw off of, and it's not easy, right? And it's hard. So all I could do is say, here, just do it at the house, you know what I mean? At least I know she's at the house. But then at the same time, you're enabling when you're constantly allowing somebody to continue to do it. But if you focus on harm reduction, you try to get down to the root cause of why someone is doing drugs anyway. If we can get people employed, good employment, get them educated, because in New Mexico, we have long had too many generational uneducated families. And then on top of that, you have generational drug use, where you have grandpa, grandma, and everybody. And then when you have kids that are uneducated, you are going to turn to drugs. That's the only thing, especially when you have people who are living in poverty. But if you could give people a good chance, an opportunity to be able to pay their bills and things like that, you will be able to get people off of these drugs. We won't be able to save everybody, but we will be able to save a majority of our people, and we will be able to save our future. Because if we do not get these parents off, then these children will get on it too, especially in this state. Because we did a needs assessment with the women in the Department of Corrections, and we wanted to know, when did you get on drugs? And it was all at, in their teenage years. And who got you on drugs? We specifically asked. It was my father, it was my mom, it was my grandpa. So it's running in the family. Did you graduate? No. Did they graduate? No. So that's a problem right there. And so when we identify somebody who may be coming in contact with the police, or we know someone who's on drug, we need to address the whole entire family.
Yes.
You know what I mean? We need to see what is going on with the family. And we have to offer case management to the whole entire family. We have to case management the whole house.
Thank you. Case management the whole house. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. And so is there anything in this? Well, I want to hear a little more about your daughter. Like, why should we understand that hers is just like my daughter, is just like our neighbor's daughter, and what you and her are struggling with?
Yeah, my daughter is. She's just like everybody else's daughter who hung around the wrong people and started doing drugs. And with my daughter, I'm not sure if I could save my daughter, honestly. I think the drug has her, and I don't ever know if she'll ever come back. But I want to save somebody else's daughter, you know what I mean? Because like I said, I used to be that drug dealer. I think we all have to care, because it could be your daughter, it could be your niece, it could be anybody. It could be the person at the store. And then, like I said, it could be the person at the store, and then your child's going to the store, you know what I mean? How do you know your child's not crying at the time, going through something, the person behind the counter is like, here, I got something for you. So that's why it's everybody's problem. Everybody's problem. Fentanyl right now is everybody's problem, because it is a health crisis. We have the African American community who thinks it's not our problem, because we think it's a white person's drug, but it's not. We have more African American men overdosing on fentanyl than we do anybody, We got to get the churches involved. We have to get everybody needs to have fentanyl. I could accidentally overdose right now in front of you, just because somebody may accidentally gave me something, and you need to have Narcan to bring me back, you know what I mean? It's fentanyl is just not for people who are on drugs. Fentanyl could be for the elderly who may be living at home by themselves, who may be taking too many pills. It could be your grandma, it could be your grandpa. So that's why it's important that we all get educated on it. It could be somebody that just got injured and then just decided to take more pills because of pain relief. It could be, your dad, your uncle, and they weren't a drug addict, but because they upped their dose, then they, they overdose. But if you're not educated, that's what I'm saying. People think it's just a drug addict, but no, it could be your dad on it. So that's why everybody needs to know about it. I mean, right now we can't focus on blame. All we could focus on is trying to save lives, and we can save lives. But we definitely got to do more. We need boots on the ground. We need outreach. We need people out in the streets. We really gotta do more than what we're doing.
Agree. Thank you so much, Stacy. Is there anything else that I haven't asked you that you want to be able to say?
No, I think, I think that New Mexico, I think we are on it. I think we are headed in the right direction by focusing on this, this health crisis that we have. I think the summit is a good start. I just, thank you guys for, inviting me, and, to all the, the parents who may be having kids who are struggling with opioids, just don't give up. Just all you could do is just pray, and just hope for the best, and and just try to, look out for the rest of your family members who may be going through the same thing or similar thing. And we also have to realize is that we can't say, not my family, or that's not going to happen to me, or I don't have to worry about that. It can and it will happen to you.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm so thankful for you sharing today. I'm so thankful for your work with Women in Leadership. You are building the next generation of powerful, strong women that are going to really help us solve all these health crises. Thank you for naming it as a health crisis.
I'll go one more thing.
Yes, please.
And so I am a returning citizen, so I work with women who are incarcerated. So this is to the families. I know, we want our people who are incarcerated to have the best. We want them to have everything. But we have to stop taking drugs inside the prison. We know that the family's not the only ones doing it. We know there are other people doing it, but we know families are doing it. And to me, as a person who's been there, and as a person who are working with these women, we have to stop doing that. That is not helping them at all. We have to get more educated. And one thing that families can do that have women who are incarcerated, because most women who are incarcerated are on drugs. 95% of those ladies are on drugs. There's nothing in the free world you can't get in prison. And in order for these women to get home and stay home with their children, families, we have to take a different role. We have to be more advocates. And then you guys have to get educated. And then if you guys are struggling with drugs, you guys also need to reach out for help as well.
Thank you so much for that message.
You're welcome.
Oh, so much to learn. Thank you so much for sharing your story and being part of this, and let's do this together.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
I did want to, I'm going to keep, don't stop yet. I wanted to ask one more question about this. So this one I've been asking, but I forgot to ask on this one. So Stacy, we have folks watching from probably all over the country, maybe even other parts of the world, definitely lots of New Mexicans, definitely lots of our elected officials across our state. What are some of the ways, what are the things your family needs, or what are some of the things the ideas you have to solve this problem that everybody's trying to solve?
Some of the ideas that I have is outreach, assemblies at the schools. I think that we need to get into to the schools, especially APS, and we need to start having assemblies with children. We need to start having Narcan overdose prevention classes at the churches, anywhere that we could think of. We need to start having events out in the public. We need to be handing out Narcan. We got to get educated. I know that, the police are working really hard. They're arresting, drug dealers, but I mean, they're really arresting. It's bigger than this, right? This crisis that we have is bigger than that. So, and then if we could get some of these individuals that we arrest for drugs, if maybe we could get them some help, you know what I mean? If we could get them educated and get them to see what it is that they're really doing to how it's really hurting families. So more so is outreach, Commissioner. I think we have to just continue to do outreach and giving out Narcan, because there's so many people that's on this drug. There's a lot of people that we won't be able to get to come to events and assemblies. But if we could start getting out and just talking to people and telling them what it is, and if we could save some lives, 1 or 2 lives, then I think we did good.
Yes, we can. Thank you so much, Stacy.
You're welcome.